Sent from Disneyland, history in our hand. So much to say about yesterday and the decades we have spanned. Postcards from the park, this journey will embark. See what has changed and what remains on Sent from Disneyland. Sent from Disneyland.
Welcome to the Sent from Disneyland podcast.
Here age relives fond memories of the past.
If it's your first time joining us, welcome. On this podcast, we'll take a journey into the past and explore Disneyland, Disneyland history, and more, with mementos, snapshots, souvenirs, and postcards sent from Disneyland, from 1955 to the present. Let's start by thanking my patrons from patreon.com. You can join in at any level to support the show and receive snail mail from my trips to Disneyland and from my desk, plus some sneak peeks and bonus content. Special thanks to Random Olive, the first patron to this podcast, and to the rest of the e-ticket patrons, Tania, Eric Daniels, Monica Seitz Vega, Bill Dreffel, Scott Cagle, Russ Romano, Michael and Christina Cross, Angela Reynolds, and Sheila Harry. C-ticket patrons Serious Inquiries Only, Debbie Weinstein, Jennifer Schneep, Grace Coate, Patty Wolin, Ben and Noel Bruning, and Greg Gorley. B-ticket patron Joshua Bell, and to the A-ticket patrons Elise Sharp, Zealot Infinity, Alexis Robles, Angel DeBlock, Daps Magic, and the Beyond the Railroad podcast. I am your host, your post-host Clocky, and today we have 2 postcards sent from Disneyland. The front of our first postcard has D-ticket attraction Mark Twain. Going past Cascade Peak, you can see guests filling each deck, and if you look closely, you can see the top of Fort Wilderness. On the back it reads, "The Mark Twain steamboat passes Cascade Peak and its beautiful waterfalls, one of the newest additions to Frontierland, as it continues on a journey down the rivers of America." It's postmarked August 31st, 1964, with a San Pedro Pray for Peace cancel and a 4-cent Lincoln postage stamp, Scott number 1036. I assume they visited the park on Sunday, August 30th, 1964, when park hours were from 9 a.m. to midnight. The weather was a high of 78 and a low of 60. Park attendance that day was 28,999. It's addressed to Mrs. Rose Evans of Canton, Ohio. It reads, "Dear Rose, we spent the day here, rode on this boat. Quite a place. While I like all the beautiful trees and flowers here, my heart is still in Canton. Be seeing you, Carly." While filming an episode of Photonix, Mr. Daps and I briefly discussed the Mark Twain, and I had forgotten that it was a D-ticket attraction. This week I pulled out 2 loose D-tickets from my ticket book collection and thought it would be fun to narrow down when these tickets could have been used. We'll look at some fun attractions which could have been enjoyed with these unused but loose tickets. The older of the 2 tickets I have is a 45-cent D-ticket from a junior admissions book. It notes that the special ticket price is 35 cents, showing you the value of getting a ticket book. Looking through the listed lands and attractions, it starts with Tomorrowland and the Skyway to Fantasyland. This gives us a date of June of 1956 through 1982, when ticket books were phased out. The next land is Fantasyland, which includes the Skyway to Tomorrowland as well as the classic opening day attractions like Peter Pan's Flight, Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, and Snow White's Adventures. These attractions, while fun, do not close our window of time. The 2 attractions listed in Fantasyland, the Storybook Land Canal Boats, which opened in June of 1956, and Alice in Wonderland, which opened June of 1958, do help narrow down just a bit. Finally, Frontierland is the last land listed and includes the Mark Twain Steamboat, an opening day attraction, the rafts to Tom Sawyer Island, which opened in 1956, with the island finally ready to entertain guests, and finally the sailing ship Columbia. The Columbia doesn't quite help out as it opened on the same day as Alice in Wonderland, on June 14th, 1958. Now we can look at what is not on the D-ticket that might help us close the window. Looking at a similar ticket that is attached to a cardstock back of a ticket book with the listings of all the attractions, it includes the Matterhorn and the monorail, which bumps the start date to 1959. The monorail going to the Disneyland Hotel also bumps it to 1961. It includes the 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea exhibit and does not include New Orleans Square, to put an end date of around 1966 at the latest. Based on the price of the ticket book, I assume it's from 1963 or 1964. The junior ticket and ticket books were for ages 12 through 17. This light tan ticket is listed as a D coupon, which would have been a great way to experience some fun attractions. Add some flair to your mail by checking out stamps at Enfield Post. You can explore different stamp options on our Etsy site, grab some great deals by following EP Sunday Sales on Instagram, or create something special and have her design a stamp array for your invitation or celebration. You can head over to enfieldpost.com and explore all the different vintage postage stamps you can use on your next card or letter. That's ENFIELDPOST on Instagram and enfieldpost.com for your wedding and vintage postage needs. Enfield Post is the official postage stamp sponsor of the Sent from Disneyland podcast. The front of our next postcard has D-ticket attraction Rafts to Tom Sawyer Island. You can see guests being transported over to the island on the Rivers of America and the old water wheel house. In the background, you can see the Golden Horseshoe, the Matterhorn, and if you look closely, the very top of Sleeping Beauty Castle. On the back it reads, Tom Sawyer's Island. Log rafts transport fun-seeking youngsters of all ages to Tom Sawyer's Island in Frontierland, where fishing, climbing, and exploring can be enjoyed. It's postmarked November 1st, 1967, with a Downey, always used zip code, cancel, and a 5-cent black and white George Washington postage stamp, Scott number 1213. I assume they visit the park on Wednesday, November 1st, 1967, when park hours were from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. The weather was a high of 86 and a low of 54. It's addressed to Lee and Mark Middleton of Akron, Ohio. It reads, November 1st, 1967. Hello, you two little Tom Sawyers. How'd you like to ride on this raft? Did you do a lot of begging? We had them last night. One of them thought I was my girlfriend. And he said, Oh, you're not Mrs. Miller? Happy birthday, Mark. Love, Grandma and Grandpa. Before we look at the next ticket, I assume by the date of this postcard, the begging that Grandma and Grandpa are talking about is trick-or-treating on Halloween. The second, and only other loose D ticket in my collection, is a child's 60-cent coupon. This ticket has similar features to our previous ticket, with the Skyway listed in both Tomorrowland and Fantasyland, putting us past 1956. It also has the Frontierland River attractions of the Mark Twain, the sailing ship Columbia, and the rafts to Tom Sawyer's Island. This also includes the mine train through Nature's Wonderland, which gives us a possible end date of 1977. The more informative land on this ticket is Tomorrowland, which includes the People Mover as an attraction this ticket could be used for. This pushes the dates between 1967 with the new Tomorrowland and 1977 when the mine train was removed for Big Thunder Mountain. A detail I never noticed that confirms the date of 1967 or 1968 is the paper used, specifically the watermark. Most Disneyland ticket books have a watermark with the Globe Ticket Company logo surrounded by waves. This ticket and tickets from 1966 through 1968 have a castle and star watermark. Not sure why they changed, but stay tuned for a future episode about the Globe Ticket Company and what this watermark means. Looking at both tickets, it's fun to see the changes. First, the color of the 1964 ticket is a tan color, and the 1967 ticket is a yellow or goldenrod color. They're the same height, but the 1967 ticket is about 3/4 of an inch shorter than the 1964 ticket. The typeface changed between the tickets, with the 1967 ticket having elongated lettering for the listing of the lands. The information on the front and the legal disclaimer on the back remained about the same. The back reading, These coupons are not subject to refund and may be used only for admission as indicated. Listed attractions are subject to price change and availability without notice. All coupons in this book are good at any time during Disneyland's regular operating hours when ticket books are on sale. My incoming postcard is sponsored by the Art Throwdown. Art Throwdown, or ATD, is a craft hour on Instagram starting at 9 p.m. Eastern or 6 Pacific. Art Throwdown is a wonderful community of artists who love to share their craft, from creating sticker postcards and coloring techniques to intricate paper cutting and unique crafting. It's always a treat to watch a show and occasionally get some one-of-a-kind postcards from the group. Each host brings something a little different to each show. I'll list some of the regular hosts, or you can follow Russ Romano 2021 on Instagram. The front of my incoming postcard has an illustration of a girl in a red sweater and a red skirt looking out a window at postcards falling from the sky, with some houses in the background, some rolling hills, and green trees. On the bottom it reads, World Postcard Day 2025, next to a stamp. It's postmarked September 29th, 2025, with a San Francisco cancel, and 2 postage stamps, a 25-cent Cape Hatteras Lighthouse stamp, and a 37-cent American Filmmaking Behind-the-Scenes makeup stamp, with Jack Pierce working on Boris Karloff's makeup for the movie Frankenstein. Scott numbers 2471 and 3772E, respectively. It reads, 9/27/25. Hi, Clocky. Happy World Postcard Day to you, my friend. I hope you're doing well. Went to a meetup today and had a great time. Have a fantastic week, Jim. Thank you so much for the postcard, Jim. I had a wonderful World Postcard Day, sending post-crossing postcards from the park. I enjoyed coming back to my mailbox and getting a handful of World Postcard Day postcards, including this official one from Post-Crossing. I also love the stickers that you added to the back saying good vibes only and a heart with a 3-color rainbow inside. This reminds me that I need to go to a Post-Crossing meetup someday, and maybe even while I'm traveling I can find one that's nearby. I also talked to April last trip, and she said that the Art Throwdown meetup in Chicago was super fun. I hope to make it to one of those as well. Thanks for listening to Sent from Disneyland. If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe and tell your friends. It would also help to leave a 5-star rating and comment on whatever podcast platform you use. If you'd like to support the show financially, please check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/sentfromdisneyland. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok at sentfromdisneyland or my website, sentfromdisneyland.com. For questions and comments, send me a postcard addressed to Sent from Disneyland, P.O. Box 44, Hood, California, 95639. This podcast is not affiliated with Disney, the United States Postal Service, or any post office or Disney-related properties. Opinions expressed on this podcast belong to the host and guests of the Sent from Disneyland podcast. This podcast is produced and edited by Clocky McDowell, website designed by Misty McDowell. Theme song was written and performed by Noah Sunday Lefkowitz. Take it away, Noah.